Right. It has been taking a little while for Facebook to catch up with YouTube. So hopefully everyone can see us.
Good.
But it may take a minute to catch up.
Oh, there's 11.
Wow.
You're all keen.
This so quickly on. Brilliant.
Right.
Whoever's out there, hello.
I'm going to
hello in the comments and say hi.
Right.
All shy.
Hi,
Green.
We're there. Yes,
Green.
Hello.
Hello.
And we have summer finally in England.
Yes.
Hi, Amy. Hi, Emma. We're all good. Thank you. All good.
All good. Liking the warmer weather.
Yeah. The dragon.
At last.
Dragon energy coming in.
Hiya.
Hello. Harrison. Good evening, Amanda. Hi, Atika. Some familiar ones, some unfamiliar ones. Dragon power, bringing them all together.
Horizon 57. Hello.
And the dog sleeps.
Yep.
All the dogs are sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah, Bazzy's down there.
Yeah,
I think I saw Denver head out the door a minute ago, so.
Yeah, that's it, he's gone. Good evening, Angela. Hi, Kerry. Debbie is in Hammersmith, London. Hello. And Susan, sunny Sunderland. That's a lot of S's.
There's some good bands play at Hammersmith.
Hammersmith. Yes, Hammersmith.
Hammersmith. I like that.
That sounds quite Dickensian, doesn't it? That's quite mysterious. And
Horizon is Sue from sunny Sunderland.
Hello.
Georgie's in sunny Newcastle upon Tyne. Excellent. Yes, the weather has been fabulous today and yesterday.
Finally got some summer.
Julie's over in Sidges. Have a fabulous time. Been there, loved it. Fantastic place. Good evening.
I've not heard of them.
What, Sidges? Over about 20 minutes from Barcelona.
Oh, okay.
Very Green says 91 degrees in Kentucky today. See, we think it's warm in England.
That's warm.
Good evening, Tanith. Good evening, Debbie from sunny Suffolk. We're loving all the sunnies here. Good evening, Tara, North Carolina Highlands. And Sephora, New Zealand, 5 a.m. Sephora, you're mad. We're very glad you're here. Thank you. Good evening, Nita. It is from 4 Marks, if I'm right. My memory's a bit iffy on things.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hi, Rosemary.
Lots of lovely people. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Amy from North Wales. Oh, how international are we, eh? We'll give it a couple of minutes for people to find us, and then we will make a start because we've got tons of stuff for you this evening. First time we've done a free online workshop for a book launch. So we've got a bit of everything, bit of waffle, got some fancy pictures. We've got a ritual and hopefully some hints and tips on how to work with Dragon Magic for you. So exciting, very exciting. We like dragons. Where did we get to? Janine, Central Virginia. Thank you for hosting this amazing workshop. You're very welcome. I'm hoping it'll be amazing. Hi, Dawn and Dora saw you at WitchCon. Hello. I'm excited to book. Me too. Dragon Magic is very, very dear to my heart. So yeah, very excited about this. 4 Marks. Yes, Nita. I thought I recognized your name from the Wednesday mornings. My memory's a bit iffy. So good evening, Anna. Kerry loves a bit of waffle. Good, because that's all you get from us. Rosemary, link wasn't showing up in the group. Debbie posted the YouTube link. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie, you're a star. Good evening, Angela, or should I say bonsoir? Wet and warm here in France. When it's not raining, it's humid. That's not good, is it? It's not good. So let me grab a picture. Wrong side. When you're looking in the camera, it's all back to front. It gets very confusing. Right, this evening we're backed by Keith. I still love that he's called Keith. For anyone who doesn't know, I did run a competition. He's on the front cover of the book, and he's drawn by Matty Greenfield. You're going to see some more of Matty's digital artwork later on. I just said to Matty, for the book cover, a fire dragon, please. And that's what he came up with. And it was spot on. This is my fire dragon, who has been with me since childhood. He nailed it. But I ran a competition to give him a name. There were some amazing names. There were some really incredibly clever and historic and mythological names. And then someone suggested Keith. So this is Keith. It just fit. It fitted. So that's Keith. The dragon liked it as well. Janine, the dragon boxes have been sent out. Yes, they went out. What day are we today? I think they went out Wednesday or Thursday. You should have had an email with a tracking number. If you haven't, email me and we'll get that followed up for you. So yes, they are winging their way. Good evening, Maria. Good afternoon, Candy. I'm going to put this one up because it's fab. Everyone does need this book. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you liked it. Maria says, looks a bit like my Albert. Albert's a good name for a dragon too. Good morning, Willow Ravenwood from California, the Trail Wanderer. Good morning. Oh dear, we're on Emma's big screen.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
That's not good.
Oh, you can see and hear us.
Hi, Megan. So fabulous that everyone can join us. We will make a start because we've got tons of stuff to get through. As always, if you have any questions as we're going through, thoughts or insights, pop them in the comments. That side, pop them in the comments, and we will flip them up or answer them if we can, and we'll see where we go with it. It is being recorded, so if you have to, disappear or go and make a cup of tea, whatever, it will be recorded, so you can watch it later on the replay. But we'd love for you to stay with us because it's so much more fun when people are interactive. It kind of keeps it going because we talk to each other all the time. Much as we love talking to each other, it's lots of fun to have you guys interacting with us. So please, any questions, any thoughts, pop them up on the comments. And we'll see. Hang on, we've got one. Maria goes to the blue.
Always one.
There's always one. It's usually
I think so. We should sit here in silence until she gets back.
tapping. Right, so we're gonna do a little bit of history first, a bit about dragons in general, a bit about my own journey with dragons, because this is about the Dragon Magic book initially, but hopefully it's bigger than that, and hopefully you will get a lot more from that. So we'll start with that, and then we'll see where it takes us. We have myths, we have stories, we have magic. So we will start. So he felt the sensation of the dragon rummaging around in his mind, trying to find a clue to understanding. He half saw, half sensed the flicker of random images of dragons of the mythical age of reptiles, and here he felt the dragon's genuine astonishment of some of the less commendable areas of human history, which were most of it, and after the astonishment came the baffled anger. There was practically nothing the dragon could do to people that they had not, sooner or later, tried on one another, often with enthusiasm. You have the effrontery to be squeamish, it thought at him, but we are dragons. We were supposed to be cruel, cunning, heartless, and terrible. But this much I can tell you, you ape. The great face pressed even closer, so that once was staring into the pitiless depths of his eyes. We never burned and tortured and ripped one another apart and called it morality. And that is from Guards Guards by the great Sir Terry Pratchett. He understood humans. He understood human nature, and he absolutely nailed dragons. That's my honour to him. Kerry should have gone before we left. Yeah, we've all been there. All been there. Right, let's get a bit more organised. So the dragon is the principle of clear seeing, the ability to see things in a new light, as they really are, beyond all those illusions that we all put up. I don't believe there can be any doubt about the strength of dragon, from the physical, but also the mental to the spiritual as well. You might be familiar with the idea of a dragon hoarding his treasure. It's that treasure that symbolises the wisdom that it keeps. For us to find the knowledge it guards, we've got a quest for it. Quest within ourselves, venture into the unknown to find the answers. For those that practice yoga, that power is the Kundalini. It's that force that's hidden within us. We've all got it, and we all have the ability to awaken that force. And the world has dragons in many, many breeds, sizes, shapes, colours, types. Some of you will be more familiar with others, Chinese dragons, the Welsh dragon, for instance. But there are so many different ones, and we are going to look at some of them. No matter what they are, they all hold incredible power. Dragon can be strong, it can be useful and wise as a guide or a guardian. We can also tap into the dragon energy and use them in magic or in ritual. They are a primeval force. They are power. They are wise. They are intelligent, and they bring together the power of the elements. Dragon energy is one of the most powerful energies I know that I've ever worked with. Blended together with the four elements, they kind of become a superpower. It's that go large kind of energy. Dragon energy does tend to be linear. Be careful what you ask for. They don't mess about. They don't think, oh, this, that, the other. They will just do it, and they will go the quickest route to get to the goal. So bear that in mind when you are working with them. Dragon magic also works generally quite quickly. Sometimes it can have unexpected results as well. So you have to give the dragon a bit of leeway because it will do what it thinks is best. It is very good at removing dark energy. Dragons are very good at clearing negative energy, but they are useful for so many things. It is power personified. Good evening, Lolly. So I don't want to put you off working with dragons. I would ask you to remember that they are old and they are wise. They have a tendency to get bored easily. I'm very familiar with that. And they can be impatient. Wonder why I've got dragon energy connections. Always treat them with respect, just as you would any wise elder. And just as you do with deity, for instance. It'll take time and effort to build a relationship with the dragon. And a lot of practice to understand how their magic works, because it doesn't necessarily work in the same way that we're all familiar with. You can't force or summon a dragon. You can't make one work for you. If a dragon feels that you are worthy and can be trusted, then you have found yourself a very powerful ally. Good evening, those just joining. Good evening, Trudy. So you can tell I'm serious this evening because I've actually got notes. So when you start your journey, begin by researching. Read as much as you can about them. Their myths, their stories, their folklores, their legends are all really, really important. Then think about why you want to work with them. What are your reasons behind it? And are you prepared to put in that work and effort that it takes to build that relationship and to follow it through properly? Because it is going to take that time and effort. Dragon magic isn't a quick fix, but then neither is witchcraft. So, and working with dragons is not something to be taken lightly. Only you will know if you're ready to work with dragons. Usually they're the ones that make the decision for you. Maria says, feel very unpredictable to me when I think of dragons, not easily dissuaded. They are. It is their base is fire energy. So if you think about how unpredictable fire is, that's what dragon magic is. You have to work to build that relationship, to understand how that magic works. And it is unpredictable, but if you are used to working with it, you get more used to how it works. But it does take effort. It does take dedication. Hi, Trudy. I think that's the same though with any magic though, isn't it? With witchcraft as a whole, you get out of it what you put into it. So you've got to make the effort. Otherwise, it's a bit pointless, really. So I think that kind of goes with anything. Working any kind of magic takes commitment and responsibility. So I will start with my dragon story. They have been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. As a child, I was always fascinated by the fantasy stories. Anything that had dragons, witches, wizards, fairies. I've still got several dragon ornaments that I had from my childhood. Books. Every Saturday morning, my dad would take us to the library. I would come home with a pile of books. I can remember reading Alice in Wonderland from start to finish in one sitting, Through the Looking Glass, and of course the Jabberwocky, the dragon-esque creature in the Looking Glass. The Hobbit, one of my favourite books from childhood as well, with Smaug, famous dragon, probably one of the famous dragons, I would think. And even earlier, when I was very small, I belonged to a book club at school, and one of the books I got was The Green Smoke. I should have brought it down, actually, it's upstairs. By Rosemary Manning, and it's a story of a little tiny green dragon who lived in a cave in Cornwall. And that story stuck with me for going on for 50 years now. It's probably an antique book, but that kind of stuck with me. And I think dragon magic kind of wove itself into my life. Dragon ornaments, dragon jewelry, dragon images in all kinds of ways. And I think it helped shape my personality as well. And I think it's always been there. It was only when I found my witchcraft journey that I realized what that energy was. That's when the realization was made. And it even wove into my craft name. So my craft name is Tansy Fire Dragon. It had to be there. The dragon had to be there. I can't remember when I first knew it was my guardian dragon. I think I recognized the energy, but it was some time before I realized that it was dragon energy. Generally, I feel him closer when I've done something stupid, which is quite often. I can feel him looming. This great big energy that looms up behind me with the big wings. And I'm, oh, what have I done now? Or I haven't been listening to something. That's generally, I feel him. Sometimes his size differs. But it depends how stupid I've been. But he is a part of me. He's a part of my personality, part of my energies. Other dragons have come and gone. I've used them in spell working. I've used them in ritual, particular things. I think what I found most interesting when I did the research, though, for the book was most of the dragons in stories are fully grown. I'm not talking the fiction books. I'm talking in the myths now and the legends. most of the dragons are fully grown. So most of the dragons that I have come across have been fully grown, apart from one. At a ritual in Stonehenge, a few years back now, I was struggling with a lot of stuff at the time. And the archdruid that I was with at the time said to me, put your hand on the stone. And I did. And I felt a baby dragon arrive. And he traveled with me for some time. And I think he was there to take my mind off everything that was going on. I think he was there so that we could learn together. But that's once in 50 odd years that I've come across a baby dragon. All of the others have been grown. I don't have an answer why. I have no idea. But that's how it is. So there you go. Green, learning more about dragon magic, more because my youngest daughter has immense dragon magic energy. I think a lot of the time it does come along when you're young. Very hard to rein it in at times. Yeah, that was me. It will make sense. It will make sense. Hi, Sherry. Sephora, Puff the Magic Dragon. Yeah. Oh, now I'm going to be singing that. We're all good. That's the earworm evening, isn't it? We're all going to be singing Puff the Magic Dragon. I think it is something that does appear in childhood. It certainly did for me. But it is also something that you can come to later on if you choose to. Don't rule anything out. It is an amazing journey. You just have to commit to it because it is a bit of a dedication. A bit like working with the world of fairy, I guess. Same thing. But I'm going to stop waffling now and hand over to Heather for a bit.
My turn to waffle. So, where did dragons originate from? That's a very good question. And there probably isn't a definitive answer, but there are some suggestions, and they appear in mythology across the globe. Virtually every country has got dragon stories. So such a widespread myth must have some sort of creation background, something. So one of the main theories is derived from the discovery of dinosaur bones, which makes sense. You know, when our ancestors uncovered the dinosaur bones, didn't know what to make of them. In Austria in 1335, a huge skull was found in a gravel pit near, I'm not even going to say that, Klagenfurt, I think.
We'll go with it.
I think that's how you say it.
Probably Klagenfurt.
And it was believed at the time to be the skull from the old legend of a water dragon that brought a flood to that area, to that town, which is, it's fascinating, isn't it, when you think back. The skull was displayed in the town hall for many years and is in a museum there now. So, yeah, anybody that goes to that area. I'm not even going to start saying those words, Rachel.
You've got some really good words.
Okay, so I am going to try this one because this one looks really interesting. Lindworm.
Yes. Worm is spelled W-Y-R-M, but it is just pronounced worm. Yeah, you're right.
Worm. Lindworm statue for the capital of Carinthia. That was in the 1600s, yeah?
Yep.
Based on the skull, and it represents a dragon that spouts water. And during the 1800s, the skull was identified as that of an actual Ice Age woolly rhinoceros.
Wow.
You can see how they misunderstood it, can't you? I mean, it's a great big skull. You can see how they wove the story around it.
Yeah. Then there's another famous dragon skeleton, which was the work of a Dr. Albert Koch. And he exhibited a sea dragon skeleton in New York in 1845, so more recent. 35 meters or 114 feet creature. And it consisted of a large skull, complete with teeth, and a long snake-like body. And he called the creature a Hydrakos, suggesting it was a bloodthirsty monarch of the waters, until he was called out by a professor called Jeffries Wyman, who spotted that the skeleton was actually made up of several different species of animal, mostly whales. Yeah. So history is littered with lots of stories where people have just made them up, or it's been a case of mistaken identity, or they've been hoaxes.
Yeah.
Going back even further into the time of the 1st century to the site of the Himalayas, where we find a travel, Apollonius of Tyana. He notes that the whole area was full of dragons. He probably found fossils of crocodile-type dinosaurs, maybe with that of an extinct elephant, is what they think now.
Again, you can see, can't you? You can see
Yeah.
how they would see these great big skeleton things and think it was a monster.
Yeah. And then you've got the winged serpents. Well, they were probably
Pterodons.
that's it.
Pterodons, pterosaurs.
Pterosaurs. Yeah. But yeah, because we didn't know what these old bones meant at the time, we had no idea that we'd been there'd been dinosaurs thousands of years before us. So yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? Bones again, bones.
Yeah.
Gotta love bones.
And across the globe as well, every culture has them, but then most cultures had dinosaurs too. So you can see the connection, can't you? Fascinating. Right. We got some comments here. What's the dragon's name in Merlin? There were several dragons in the original Merlin stories. I'm not sure how many of them had names, but I don't remember all of them. Grandson was so immersed in the Dragon Master series that the whole household was focused on dragons for quite some time. They've had a bit of a trend, haven't they, with the Game of Thrones? It's kind of brought them back into... Emma had a yellow-skinned dragon come to me in my dreams for several nights in a row. Must admit I didn't understand what was happening. Did talk to it though and got response to my questions. He obviously had messages for you. Amy, never thought about it, but I'm English and live in Wales with the dragon flag. It was on my children's uniform, so I'd seen it every day. Plus, I'm a fire sign. The Welsh dragon. Yep. Oh, you don't have to apologise, Zinnia. We're glad you're here. Dinosaurs, just a guess. They could have been right the first time. Well, that's it, isn't it? We're saying that they thought they were from dinosaurs, but maybe they were all dragons. Maybe they were. Angela worked with dragons for quite a few years. About 15 years ago, we attended a ritual where we did a meditation to meet your dragon. If it was right too, I met my in real life cat curled up in a warm sand nest, curled around a dragon egg. I think I'm still waiting for it to hatch. Oh, 2 years ago, but it was very much a dragon spirit familiar. Fabulous. My magical middle name was gifted to me in a dream, Moon Dragon. Perfect. I think it's all fascinating, and I think particularly the first explorers and quite a lot during the Victorian times, they loved to make all these bones and put them together and charge people, shilling to come and look at them. It was a money-making hoax for a lot of them. But all the stories are fascinating. Cool. So we're going to hand over now to Ness.
What is a dragon?
Good question.
What is a dragon? If you were to picture a dragon in your mind right now, what would it look like? Chances are it would have a large, scaly body, long tail with ridges, a pair of wings, 4 legs, and a scaly horse-shaped head. This image is known as the heraldic dragon. Throw in fire breathing, and you will probably have the most popular image. There are so many different types and designs of creature that fall under the dragon category, from snake-like limbless creatures to ornate, colourful Chinese dragons and every possible design in between. Poisonous and/or fiery breath features quite often, and the ability to coil itself, got my space, around features in the landscape. Wings also appear, but not on every type of dragon. Some stories describe creatures with no legs, the dragon being more of a snake-like serpent. Others tell of beasts with 2 legs, or maybe 4. Claws or talons are often spoken of, particularly in the case of unsuspecting humans or livestock being grabbed by them. Size does seem to vary, although most legends just describe the dragon being huge or enormous, giving no particular measurements. Yeah, I think it's that general, isn't it? The sort of the scales and...
It's the Welsh dragon, isn't it, on the flag? Yeah. It's that type of thing, yeah.
And where will you find a dragon? What is its natural...
I know.
Possibly for most people, your first thought will go to a cave, and that is a good starting point. Many stories tell of dragons living in caves or under mountains when sitting on their hoards of gold. Folklore tells of buried treasures, usually under a mountain, so it stands to reason that a dragon would guard it to keep people from digging it up. Sea monsters and serpents obviously live in the dark depths under the water. However, you are just as likely to find a dragon living in the middle of a forest, a valley, or in mountain ranges. In fact, certain types of English dragons, the knucker, live at the bottom of deep, dark, water-filled holes in the ground. Do not be limited by the idea of caves. It does seem that water of some kind is often a feature in the landscape where a dragon decides to take up residence. If you fancy doing some research in your local area, a good starting point is place names. Anywhere that includes the word dragon, drake, or worm, or the equivalent in the native language, could mean the presence of a dragon legend. That's interesting, the place names.
Yeah, it's a good way of telling. Because we don't like to write things down, do we, to make things easy?
No, we've got to guess these things. Hoards. Some stories tell of dragons sitting on hoards of treasure, gold and precious jewels. Often these are hidden away at the base of mountains or buried burial mounds. Britain in particular has a number of barrows bearing names that refer to dragons. Barrow is the name given to ancient burial mounds in England, large structures shaped from piles of soil over a place where people were buried. A lot of these names are still in use, but the stories and legends attached to them have been lost over time. Over in Wales, dragon tales are abound. Only these dragons guard their treasure in wooded areas and on small hills. These dragons guard their treasure diligently. There doesn't seem to be a folk tale attached to the locations telling of dragons terrorizing nearby villages or feeding on livestock. It seems most of these dragons are so dedicated to their hoard that they stay there on guard for eternity. That sounds much nicer, doesn't it?
Trudy, has anyone seen dragon images within nature? Oh, absolutely. In trees and stones, stood out inside an old tree trunk and there was a dragon image. Yes, all the time. Dragon Master is a series of kids, but I must admit I hadn't heard of that one. 26 book, great for introducing children to dragons and magic. I hadn't heard of that one. Maria, I think once a dragon is in your life in one form or other, that's it for life. It is if you look after it. If you don't honour it and give offerings and keep a connection with it and build the relationship, it will get bored very quickly and walk off. I would too. Trudy's seen dragons in fires. Yes, brilliant. Sephoria, my youngest was dragon mad as a youngster and was caught burying eggs and chicken feathers and fish scales in the backyard so she could grow a dragon. Excellent. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. That's excellent. I think it's important to remember that seeing dragons isn't necessarily, I don't see my dragon sitting there in front of me. It is more a feeling than I've actually seen. But it'll be different for everybody. So back to Heather. Who's going
and I get to talk about fair maidens. Oh, dear. So one of the general themes that seems to come up is that they like offerings, mainly devouring young maidens.
Yep.
So often this goes along the lines of the villagers demanding that the dragon stops eating all their livestock and instead they'll offer up a regular supply of young ladies from the village. Yeah, right. So what would you rather give to a hungry dragon? A regular supply of sheep or your daughters? I think I'd go with sheep personally, but
it's a mad one, isn't it?
yeah. There is an example found in the story of Stoorworm from Scotland. Yep. A terrible sea monster arrived, levelling towns and eating everyone in sight, his breath poisoning all living things. The king sought help from a local wizard who advised the beast must be fed 7 maidens at dawn every week. That's a little bit excessive.
It is a little bit, isn't it? I think the wizard must have been on commission or something.
I think so. I think perhaps the wizard and the
dragon.
They were in cahoots in some way. Anyway, the beast was happy with the exchange, and his rampages were kept at bay. Obviously, the people grew tired of offering up 7 maidens every week. I mean, they must have run out. How could you?
You've got to find them first, haven't you?
Yeah. We don't recreate that quickly. The story has a happy ending with the hero killing the dragon and marrying a princess. Not such a happy ending for the Stormworm, which is a bit sad.
Yeah,
but then he was being a little bit greedy with the 7 every week. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how would you feed a dragon? Obviously, fair maidens are few and far between. And you probably want to keep the ones that you do have. So perhaps, it's just terrible waste. So they're very fond of milk. It's interesting. The idea stems from the belief that snakes love a drop of milk. Many cultures have beliefs that a dish of milk should be left out to appease the local snake population. So it then just carries on from that people, they associate snakes with dragons, so leave them out a saucer of milk, although it would need to be quite large.
Saucer.
Yeah, I think you're talking like mini paddling pool, maybe.
Pretty much, yeah.
You've then got the legend of the Lambton worm from Durham in England that states the beast would sit wrapped around a local hill called Worm Hill 9 times and became the terror of the county, and amongst other enormities levied a daily contribution of 9 cows' milk, which was always placed for it at the Green Hill, and in default of which it devoured man and beast. Okay.
Bath of milk or eating the population.
Yeah. Bath of milk comes, that makes more sense than loads of maidens, I have to admit. So there's lots of stories of them eating sheep and other livestock in addition to the maidens. So quite omnivorous. They're a bit omnivorous, aren't they? So dragon offspring, as Rachel said earlier, there aren't that many tales about baby dragons. They seem to arrive fully grown from nowhere as adults. Very few stories tell any details of anything about baby sized. There are a few baby dragon legends. They seem rare. Some in some other Did you find any in any of the other cultures when you were studying?
No, I mean, I
research-
did a huge amount of research, but no, they generally tend to be adults. Strange.
There are some beliefs about women allowing a snake to suckle at her breast, which would change the creature into a monstrous flying snake, complete with scales and wings. I wonder if that's, you know, yeah. I mean, there's all this thing, you know, with the witch trials, wasn't there, about suckling familiars and
Yeah.
yeah. I can't imagine any woman putting a snake to her breast,
Wouldn't, would you?
unless you're Cleopatra and it's an asp.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, so yeah, then there's dragon slayers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, if you've got a dragon, there's going to be knights, there's going to be, there's lots of legends, aren't there? But yeah, there's history always seems to favour the slayer, except when it comes to St. George, when we usually say, sorry, dragon. St. George is lovely, but you needn't have slain the dragon, really. No. And there are saints that seem to be favourites, don't there, with dragon slaying and Christianity. Saint banish, like St. Patrick, supposedly banishing snakes from Ireland. I suppose that comes to that, doesn't it? And perhaps unbelievers of the Christian faith being classed as dragons or whatever.
There's a lot of metaphor going on in a lot of these stories.
Yeah, seems to be, doesn't it? And then just to bring some balance, there are legends where the hero successfully kills the dragon, only then to succumb to death himself, either from his wounds inflicted in the battle or taken out by the dragon in its dying breath. Oh, no. Nice big fuff of flame.
Yeah, done, singed.
Done.
Little pile of ashes.
Little pile of ash. I can almost see the dragon smirk as it passes itself. Sorry, I will behave.
No, don't.
Okay, so then the colours of dragons. So, as with Keith, Rachel gave Matty the brief that he was a fire dragon, and he's a fire dragon. He looks like flames, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, dragons can be any shade of green, red, brown, bronze. I have to admit mine is purple and pink. Not surprising, really.
I think we go by what artists have drawn, and I think that's where it's all come from, isn't it?
But I think it also depends on perhaps the person and whether they are, because they are quite, for me, I feel they're quite strongly linked to the elements. Yeah, they've got all the elements in them, but they tend to have a bit like us, really. They have a stronger affinity.
Yeah. Let the dog carry on.
So as you now know, Rachel's guardian dragon is red, but she's worked with numerous other dragons, and they do represent the element that they tend to favour. They can be green, they can be brown. An air dragon could be yellow or white. Fire dragons do tend to be red. Water dragons tend to be blue, although, as I say, mine is purple and pink, which is very bizarre. Ness, what colour is your dragon?
When I did working with the dragon a long time ago with the lesson that we did, that was sort of like a browny green. I actually sort of found a crystal that had sort of browny green elements to it. It was neither one or the other. It was sort of like... I would have
been surprised if you didn't have an earth dragon.
Kind of changing, not from one to the other, just sort of like, you get these paints, don't you, that have, you look at them one way and then the light shines a bit, sort of almost like that, sort of like greeny brown.
Well, you know why yours has got purple in it, though, don't you?
Yeah.
That's the colour of the Chaos Dragon.
That's got to be a pink.
That's just to give people the illusion, the pink bit.
Yeah, that's that one like yours. When you see it from a certain angle, it looks pink. do not be misled. Oh dear. Yeah. Anyway, it does. The colour does depend on their habitat. So yeah, I think Rachel says that a desert dragon probably will be yellow, and a snowy, icy climes could be white or silver. But yeah, I think oh, that's interesting. You've actually said that you think that they can change their colour to suit their mood, a bit like chameleons.
Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah.
That does fit with me and my pink and purple one, because as I say, pink you from one angle and you think, oh look, then you get the purple.
And watch out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say that sort of their moods as well. That it's not just one mood, is it? They're going to have sort of feelings and thoughts, and that's going to reflect, isn't it, upon your own feelings and thoughts as well.
Yeah. Right, we've got a few comments here. Well done. Right, as part of my house spiritual protection, I visualize a dragon on the roof. I do too. It works brilliantly. Nothing more scary and protective than a huge dragon sitting on your roof. Hi, Hazel. We're up near Lyminster, where a dragon used to live. There are lots and lots of dragon stories, particularly in the British Isles. It's definitely worth researching your local area. Xenia loves dragon. Dragon heart, yes. Absolutely. Offerings of maidens. Then I love the scenes where the ladies befriend or collaborate with the dragon. Yeah, we're all rooting for that. Once saw a dragon in the clouds, looked away for a few seconds, and when I looked back, he was grinning. It was such an amazing experience. Brilliant. Excellent.
I love that name as well. Raining cats and buzzing.
Good point, Gary. Guessing the princess. Well, there's no test, is there? So Debbie Milks to deal with the heartburn. Well, yeah, if you've eaten that many fair maidens, you're going to have a bit of indigestion, aren't you? Sephora, being the land of mountains and sheep, of course, Lord of the Rings, our dragons feast well. Yeah, I mean, Smaug, he's one of the most famous ones, isn't he? We're not talking about Dachshunds, we're talking about dragons. Can you sit in your chair? Sorry, I've heard that stone circle guardians are sometimes dragons. Have you come across this? There's two things I've come across with standing stones. One is that they are witches that have been turned into stone, and I have heard stories of dragons as well. I don't know what you guys think.
I think it depends, doesn't it? As you say, stone circles. There's the famous 9 maidens, isn't there, down in Cornwall?
That's right.
But I think it would depend on the area and depend on the story.
Yeah, but definitely an option. Hazel, Knucker's Hole. I've written about the Knucker dragon in the book, where the dragon lived was said to be measureless. However, Southern Water measured it, claimed it was 30 feet deep. But if you believe those they lied. I reckon they lied. Sephora, active volcanoes always make me think of dragons. Yeah, and we have a couple here. Tuatara. I love Sephora. She always puts the pronunciations for me. Are our little dragons prehistoric lizards, and Maori women used to tattoo near genitals for protection. Ooh. Ooh. Dog, what are you doing? On that note, I'm just going to get the dog.
I had to put that one. Poof, you're toast. I think that was in relation to the knight or the slayer getting done by the final breath.
Toast.
A little bit uncomfortable. Xenia, in Hamburg at the town hall, we have a large Hagia, where the goddess holding a bowl has a small dragon with her. Fabulous. I'll have to check that one up. Angela Ann McCaffrey has a fabulous series of books called The Dragon Rises a Pen. Yes, I am familiar with those ones. Dragonflight being the first one. Well worth read, definitely.
There's another person.
Purple, yeah. I'm not surprised about that one either. My partner has written a story about a dragon who prefers jam sandwiches to eating people. That's a very civilized dragon. And I've had a dragon come a few times. Mine is purple and blue and is a water dragon. There's a lot of purple in here, isn't there? I always associate purple dragons with a bit of chaos. Barbie dragon. Well, let's keep up with the trend. Amy, mine is red with yellow underneath. Bit of fire in there, I reckon. Don't think people rate high for eating. No, you can imagine the TripAdvisor. This village was a little bit chewy. Rosemary, have you found that you can work with 2 different types of dragons at the same time? Yes, without much conflict between them. Yes. We will come to the Chaos Dragon in a bit. We are working with 4 different dragons within the ritual that we're going to do in a bit as well. So yes, absolutely. Because generally dragon types fit into one of the 4 elements, they do work well together. Karen and I thought this was all about how to deal with the mother-in-law. Hi, Roxana. Flying purple people eat it. Oh, that's going back a bit. And mine has caused chaos at times. They absolutely can. It can be, dragon energy can be quite unpredictable. Maria, I have a Tudor mint clock with a wizard and dragon on either side. Battery pot stopped working though. Oh, but the picture's nice, so that's all good. Debbie, crystal dragon carvings, are there dragons within? Are they a way or prop for us to connect with them? I would say yes, they are a way to connect with dragons, absolutely. Is there a dragon within them? No, because you couldn't capture the spirit of a dragon. It wouldn't be having any of that. None of that nonsense. But
can you imagine if somebody tried to put that into a crystal, the crystal would explode.
Yes.
Wouldn't it?
Children, don't do that.
No.
Don't do this at home. But they are an excellent way, yes, to connect. Any image or representation of a dragon is a good way to honour and connect with the spirit of dragon energy, absolutely. I might have to feed the Dachshund to my dragon because he's been a pain in the butt. Get out of the bin! The Queen.
Is it that time of day, is it?
It is that time of day when there's going to be a complete and utter, Sephora says, to me, obsidian is dragon glass. I would, yes, absolutely. It is volcanic glass, isn't it? So that, yeah, definitely. Marilyn, I have a beautiful red dragon tattoo. I have a dragon too. I have a dragon on this arm up the top. You probably can't see it from there. I have Merlin and his dragon. Yeah. Mine's not beautiful colours because most of mine are black and white. Will you go and sit down? So anyway, I have some artwork to show you now. I think one of the best ways of learning about dragons is through their mythology and their legends. Do some research and find out about the myths and legends in your area because it will bring up some fantastic information, I guarantee you. There are so many legends and stories about them, and they're all different types. So I have to do a bit of technology here and present the share screen. Let's see if it's there. Well, it would help if I actually put the thing up first, wouldn't it? Dragon energy, see, is messing with me.
Yeah, there's a story to this ritual.
There is, yes. When we get to the ritual, we'll tell you a very interesting story. It's messing with us. Right. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So slideshow from the beginning. So all of these images are drawn by Matty Greenfield from Moon Books. He has a love of dragons as well, which is fabulous. And he put together some videos. So if you head on over to the Moon Books Publishing YouTube channel, you will find a series of videos that Matty put together using the text from my book and some amazing artwork. So I have included some of it here. So myths and legends have a huge amount of dragon information that we can use to work with. I've included a random selection here and my recommendations for the magic that can be worked with them. If you find one that appeals, I would recommend reading the myths and stories written about them. But it is for me about taking those myths and legends and stories and working out what magic they can help you with. So, for example, this is Quetzalcoatl. I hope. Quetzalcoatl is a Mayan feathered snake dragon seen as a god. He created the 5th cycle of mankind by using ancestral ashes and bones. Quetzalcoatl was a benevolent god who brought culture to humans in the form of reading and books, so we love him lots. He could shapeshift into a human, either as an old man with a white beard or a young man with feathers in his hair. I think that Quetzalcoatl's magical characteristics are creativity, working with the ancestors, culture because of the reading, the books, I think the arts are included in there as well with the whole creativity, and of course shape-shifting, because that's what he does. But he looks amazing. The next one is the Naga, which I know myself and the girls included will recognize because it's in curries. The Naga chili, because it's hot. So the Naga dragon kings. This is Mukalinda, and he's a Naga king. In Buddhism, the Naga is seen as a beast that can teach us lessons, how to understand and unravel the mysteries of life, thus allowing us to reach enlightenment. In one myth, Buddha was meditating under a Bodhi tree when a storm picked up. The king Mukalinda saw that Buddha was deep in meditation and was in impending danger from the storm. Mukalinda coiled himself around Buddha 7 times and raised his hooded head above him. The storm lasted for 7 days. When it was finished, Mukalinda uncoiled from Buddha, leaving him safe. Just to bring about balance, there's a further story where Buddha is visiting a monastery and asks to stay the night in the sacred firehouse. He is warned that a fierce dragon king resides there, but Buddha decides to stay anyway. Buddha makes himself comfortable in the firehouse and sits cross-legged on the floor, where he is met by the Dragon King, who spits out a cloud of smoke towards him. In retaliation, Buddha returns fire with his own cloud of smoke. The Dragon King responds by sending a blast of fire towards Buddha, which is met and returned by Buddha with stronger fire. By this point, the whole firehouse is seemingly ablaze, unsurprisingly. The Dragon King is humbled and defeated, at which point Buddha picks up the dragon and drops him into his dish. Buddha tells his hosts, his power was overcome by my power. And it seems Buddha meets Nagas on quite a regular basis, each encounter showing the power of the dragon, but also those of Buddha. Each myth shows the power of nature, but also the balance of good and evil. So Naga Dragon Kings for me are knowledge, mysteries, enlightenment, bit of understanding, but protection as well, and humility and balance. And then we have the Chinese long dragon, which you might be familiar with the image. Picture a world that is flooded. The yellow emperor Huangdi is fighting against a rebellion led by the god of war Qi Yu. Huangdi calls upon Yinglong, the responding dragon, to attack Qi Yu. Yinglong begins by collecting all the floodwaters into his stomach with the idea he might release them and drown Qi Yu. In his defense, Qi Yu calls on Feng Bo. I hope you're keeping up with all these names. I'm going to test you afterwards. He calls on Feng Bo, the wind god, and Yu Shi, the rain god, for help. Huang Di responds by asking the goddess Ba to create a drought. This allows the dragon Yinglong to attack, whereupon he kills Qi Yu. This is one of the stories told by Yinglong that appear in the, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that properly, Shanghai Jing. Yinglong is seen as a dragon of nature, with power of the seas, land and weather. Yinglong often appears in images with a traditional dragon shape with 4 legs and a long snake-like tail with a horse-shaped head. He's often depicted with whiskers and often with a pearl held under his throat, which symbolizes wisdom, power and prosperity. Numbers feature prominently as well in the Chinese long dragon, with a number of scales totaling 117, 81 of those being positive and 36 being negative. Yinglong represents life force, the positive masculine energy and the negative feminine vibes, which is very rude. It's basically the yin and the yang. So for me, the Chinese long dragon is nature. It's weather magic, water magic, wisdom, power, prosperity, and balance. And you pick those things up from reading stories. I love this picture. This picture is one of my favorites that Matty did. This is Tiamat. So from
Rachel?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but the pictures aren't moving.
Oh, okay. Hang on, let's try again. Let's try again. What can you see now?
The 3 of us.
Hang on. Oh, technology. Don't you just love technology? Right, let's try that.
It's again. This ritual.
It is, isn't it? It's this, we've tried. It's the Chaos Dragon.
5 years in the making.
And still it interferes with things. Right. Can you see that one?
Yep, got the dragon mythology one up.
That's the one
That's the one that was up.
Did we get
there? It is. Yeah, there's Quetzalcoatl.
And then we've got the Naga.
Yep.
The Chinese long one.
That's it.
And this is the one where I'll keep it like that. Can we see Tiamat now?
Yeah.
Yes.
He is one of my favorite images. So he's ancient Babylonia, and it's a myth telling the story of an epic cosmic battle between order and chaos. The little figure down there is Marduk, and he is the hero representing the divine world, who is set against Tiamat, the goddess of disorder and death, who also happens to be a dragon. I mean, obviously, I'm always rooting for the dragon, but with most of these stories, it doesn't end well. There is a lot of detail to the story, so I'm not going to read the whole lot out to you, but do seek out the whole myth. It is fascinating. We have another challenge here, basically a duel between the dragons. And this is Tiamat is a dragon of chaos. So there you go. That's what threw it all into chaos. Chaos, magic, nature, and the divine connection. It is a fascinating story, that one. So if you are interested, do seek it out. But it's quite long, so we won't go into it today. And then we have the Hydra and Heracles, or Hercules, for those working with the Roman pantheon. Heracles, the child of a god and a human, and earned his place on the Greek Olympian pantheon. He's obviously tackled a dragon because, why wouldn't you? And his serpent is a dragon with many heads. It's a Hydra. So the dragon, again, terrorizing lands, killing the people, eating the livestock. Now, this Hydra began with 9 heads. One of the heads was immortal. Each time one of the heads was severed, 2 more grew in its place. When Hercules took on the Hydra in battle, its heads numbered over 100. Must have been quite an impressive sight. And then we bring in Iolaus, who used a fiery brand to cauterize the stump after Heracles had chopped off one of the Hydra's heads. This stopped another head from growing. So systematically, Heracles chopped off a head, Iolaus cauterized the stump until they were left with the one immortal head. This last head was removed by Heracles' sword, and the dragon lay down dead, lying in a pool of its own poisonous blood. not a happy ending again. For me, the Hydra is death and rebirth. It's renewal, because the dragon kept renewing its heads. So it kind of makes sense to me. And the last one that I've got images of, if you want to see more of the images, do have a look at the Moonbooks YouTube channel, because there's some fascinating stuff on there that Matty has created. So here we've got the Welsh dragon, the one that probably the image that most people think of when they see a dragon. It was only officially adopted in 1959 as the national symbol, but the red dragon has had Welsh connections for much, much longer. I mean, we're going back to the Saxons, basically. And of course, Merlin comes into this as well, because there's the red and the white dragon battle, which appears in the Merlin stories. The red dragon representing the ancient Britons, the white dragon representing the Saxons. There is a whole story about it, and I'm not going to go into all the Merlin stories, but they are fascinating. Another area that I was intrigued as a child, actually, all of the Arthurian legends. So the Welsh dragon for me is valor, it's victory, it's predictions, it's truth, and it's vengeance. But it is probably one of the most recognized images. So there we go. The images. It is the Chaos Dragon interfering again, isn't it? Oh, they are amazing images. Do check out the Moonbooks YouTube channel, because he's done a fantastic job with it all. And of course, he did the book cover for the Dragon Magic book as well. He's a clever chap. He would have been an English dragon. There's a lot of Wales was in England. Yeah, the borders. Well, I think we forget that a lot of these legends, the landscape was different when a lot of these legends came about. The borders weren't exactly the same. So there we go. Oh, fire agate. Yes, fire agate would be an excellent dragon connection stone. I have a fire dragon pendant that I wear. Which is brill. Right. Okay, sorry about the images. That's the Chaos Dragon interfering. Maria, yes, there are some amazing dragons in the Harry Potter films. Yeah, particularly in the Goblet of Fire. Fascinating. Brilliant. Right, so Ness. We're going to do the dragon ritual now. If everybody's ready, you can follow along with us, or just watch, listen, and
buckle up is what I will say.
Ness will tell you the story of the dragon magic ritual. This one has a bit of a history.
Was that a little bell that went? That like a little bell?
That's Bazzy, sorry.
Bazzy eating her tea.
Yeah, she's having something to.
I was like, that's fascinating.
Excellent.
Oh, bless.
We're all trying to get in on the act. Go for it.
Yeah, sorry, she's literally just down here, so she's decided that she's going to have a drink now. Just woken up.
Oh, bless her. Here she goes. Ding, ding. I love it. The following ritual was written by our coven kitchen witch. The intention was to run it as an open ritual outside in a beautiful forest setting. We used to have our open rituals at Queen Elizabeth Country Park for many years, and COVID sort of put the dampener on that a while ago. But this ritual was discussed, planned, written out, and a date was set. But then the bad weather hit and we had to postpone it. And it did really come down. It was black sky. And we were sitting in the cafe having coffee, looking outside, and it came down in stair rods. So we postponed that, and a new date was set. And then obviously the pandemic hit with this associated lockdown that we had. So the ritual, we decided, was going to be put on hold indefinitely. We were sort of almost afraid to do it because we said the dragon energy is just putting the kind of everything. 4 years later, and we still haven't got round to running it until now. I said buckle up. The original script, which is in Rachel's book, included the Chaos Dragon, which we think may have been the problem. So we've not included it here, just in case. But I'm getting the feeling
Maybe he's upset.
whether we want him here or not.
I will
I
make
think
an offering.
He's lurking.
I will make an offering to the
Oh, might need to do that. So the ritual was written by Rachel, myself, my son Josh, Heather, Sue, and Gwyn. So
Yeah.
we need to divide the circle into 4, and at each point place a bowl of herbs that correspond with the element. So you'll have your bowl for each of the 4 directions. And we've got poppy seeds for air. Though I've got sesame because I didn't have any poppy. Rice for earth. Rose petals for water. Bay leaves for fire. And a small fabric pouch. And Rachel, would you like to cast a circle?
Okay, so we will run through the ritual now. Again, it will be on replay afterwards if you want to do it in your own time. Follow it along with us. So, casting circle and walking clockwise around. With the power of ancient dragon magic, cast the circle with elements of 4. Earth, air, fire, water. May the energy of all bring power and protection. This dragon magic circle is cast.
So calling in the quarters, we'd be facing each direction in turn. So east is air, so air dragon. We humbly ask you to join us for our ritual today. Share with us your intellect, the realm of thought. Guide us with your clear, pure visualization and your prowess of movement. Be the force that sends our visualizations out to become reality. Bring us your energies to heal and shift our thoughts towards happiness, grace, and acceptance. We welcome you.
We welcome
you. South, fire dragon. Fire dragon from the south, we call upon you to be with us here today during our ritual. We ask for your protection and help to shield us from negative thoughts and energies. Please share with us your qualities of wisdom, passion, transformation, unity, and balance of mind, body, and spirit. Give us the courage to look inward, to find our own inner fire, and to re-emerge like a butterfly from its chrysalis or the phoenix from the ashes, ready to move forward with a new-found passion for life. The positive master of our own destinies, we welcome you.
We welcome.
We welcome you. West and the water dragon. We call to the water dragon in the west, mighty wyvern. We welcome you to our ritual. Share with us your gifts of healing and intuition. Cleanse us of all negativity and fill us with peace, balance, and positive energy. Guide us to be more loving and compassionate. Noble water dragon, you honor us with your presence. We welcome you.
We welcome
you. North, earth dragon. Earth dragon, we respectfully call upon your presence to our ritual, to wake from your deep earthly slumber and show us the power and potential that lies within us all. Nurture our bodies and minds. Help us ground our energies. We welcome you.
We welcome.
We welcome you.
Now we're going to do a little bit of meditation, which I struggle with online meditations like this, I must admit, but it's part of the ritual and it works with it. So hopefully you will be able to connect and make yourself comfortable and feel the energy of it. If not, you can come back to it later on the replay and do it in your own time and comfort. So make yourself comfortable and close your eyes if you would like to. Focus your attention on your breathing. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Nice deep breaths. So as you become ever more relaxed, the world will begin to dissipate from around you, sending you to the middle of an immense plateau. Long shadows are cast across the rocky plains before you as the setting sun breaks through a cloud behind. You look to your right to find the plains stretch out as far as you can see. Huge mounds of rock, jaded and menacing, face the sky in all directions. The clouds blanketing above you, streaked with magenta and violet, breaking in places to reveal the blues and purples behind them. The occasional twinkle of a lone star can be seen. Your eyes are drawn to your left, the magnificent shimmering of a vast lake. The water aglow from the setting sun, still and tranquil. So huge you can barely make out the faint silhouettes of the forest trees on the opposite shore. But then, in the distance ahead of you, a flash of glorious colour catches your eye. What could have been a nondescript ashen mountain is now dressed in wide rivers of deep crimson lava. A dramatic geyser of flame erupts from the very top, followed closely by the largest bird you have ever seen. On second glance, you realize it to be a dragon. As you watch it dive in and out of the crater, peppering the land with more flecks of lava, you spot another accompanying the first, plunging itself down towards the summit. And then, all at once, you notice that these two fire dragons are most definitely not alone. On your right, where you saw nothing but a boundless expanse, littered with an array of stone and boulder, you now recognize the glint of a dozen earth dragon underbellies being sunned before dusk. Above you, you witness the air dragons. Weaves and lunges, somersaults and pirouettes, so fast you can barely follow, whipping and reshaping the clouds around them. And on your left, the sunset bounces off the still water. Behind the near blinding shimmer of light, you discover beneath the surface the gigantic forms of water dragons. Circling the depths of the lake, round and round, you hypnotically watch the school of dragons as they lap and twist with perfect synchronicity. Take a moment to focus on the energy of this place. to reach out with your mind and connect with the power of the dragons around you. Find the dragon to whom you resonate the most. Call them to you and ask if they would like to join you where you stand. Hopefully a dragon lands before you. Take the time to appreciate the connection you feel with them. Notice their beauty, their aura, how they make you feel. Take note of any sight, sound, or smell that resonates or feels significant. If you have any questions for them, receive permission before you ask them. And should they wish to tell you something, listen carefully with an open heart and mind. When you are ready, thank them for their presence, for their guidance and their wisdom, knowing you may always return here to them if ever you should need to. And then bid them farewell for now. And when you are ready, return your attention to your breathing once more. Let your focus slowly shift from the land within your mind to the land beneath your feet. Concentrate on the connection with Mother Earth beneath you. And when you feel comfortable, open your eyes and come back to the here and now. So hopefully you connected with the dragon. Don't worry if you didn't. You can always go back to that visualization and connect in your own time. Now it's up to you how you work with your pouches and the herbs. If you just connected with one dragon, say an air dragon, you might like to just take a pinch of herbs from the air element, add them to your pouch. If you didn't connect and you feel drawn to take a pinch from all four of the different herbs, from all four of the different elements, do that. Trust your intuition here and be guided by it. Each of the four herbs that we recommended, that we suggested, represents one of the four elements. You might feel drawn to just 1, 2, you might feel drawn to put them all in there. Once you've added what you want to your pouch, sit with it for a moment and connect with those elements. You might get messages, you might get images, you might hear words. Be open to whatever comes your way. And the same goes with the dragons, really. Anne has the amazing dragon was called Ernest. Good name for a dragon. Air dragon with silver and white. Fabulous. Fabulous. Kerry has energy of water dragon. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, Maria, thank you for trying again. The sun decided to come and ask me something. They do that, don't they? It'll be on replay, but you've got the visualization idea in your head and you can create your own meditation from that. And if you did meet a dragon, take yourself back in your own time to that meditation and meet again with them so that you can build a relationship with them. But the herbs in the pouch are representative of those elements of that dragon energy. Oh, Hazel had a silver and white air dragon too. Interesting. Interesting. I always find it fascinating when it's something we don't expect. That's good. It'll be for a reason. Absolutely for a reason. Chaos is always in the mix. When we did the ritual originally, we did write the Chaos Dragon as part of the team, but yeah, he's probably feeling a little bit left out now. I think there's always chaos in everything, isn't it? Green, that was quite powerful, was wrapped in a brown and sand color earth dragon, huge and magnificent. He told me he's been waiting for me. That I'm not surprised, Green, earth dragon, with all of your gardening. That makes sense. Emma, reconnected to the dragon from my dreams all those years ago. Brilliant. Made me shiver at first and my neck got hot. He's a yellow and brown air dragon. Brilliant. Lots of lovely connections. Fantastic. Sephora, black and gold, and room smell of matches. Bit of sulfur going on there. Brilliant.
Smell of that.
Yeah. Amy had a red dragon and could feel the warmth on my face. Perfect. You know, once you've made those connections, it's up to you to build on them. Yes, Chaos Dragon Undercover going by the name Merrick. I think he's in cahoots with Bazzy, actually. I think they're both up. Xenia had a white Chinese air dragon. Interesting. There's a lot of air dragons going on today. That's something that I don't normally find. Interesting. All interesting. And actually, Heather can tell us about air dragons, can't you?
I can. Yes. So there are lots of folk stories of air dragons being sighted throughout regions of the United Kingdom, all over the world. Some believe the sightings were nothing more than the bright heads and dark forked tails of comets passing close to the Earth. And with enough imagination, those comets might look like a fire-breathing dragon when you think about what they look like as they travel across the sky. Others think that the tails of dragons the air dragon may have arisen from those wanting to keep locals away from their stolen and hidden treasures, because quite a few of these stories seem to be linked to areas where there was smuggling and that sort of thing. And whilst some stories may have been created with exotic lizards from foreign regions that had escaped and were out in the wild. So yeah, there's lots of ideas of why air dragons came to be.
And Ness is going to share fire dragons with us.
Fire dragons. This was written by Gwyneth. The key to dragon energy is balance, and the fire dragons represents kingship, leadership, and mastery. Its colour is red and subsequently became the emblem for Wales and is still seen on the Welsh national flag. In mythology, the fire dragon is often viewed as somewhat malignant, but not to the Druids. They believed it to be neutral or having a mirror effect, being either malignant or benign based on how ready we are to take on the inner fire of our being. It reminds us that not all power is for everyone. The fire dragon only becomes malignant when we take on too much. As with everything, balance is a must, both physically and psychologically. Abusing your inner fire dragon and its power can only create a fierce and fiery, dangerous situation. Are you listening?
Oh, no. La, 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 la.
And you complain about my chaos dragon.
Learning to befriend a fire dragon can promote vitality, enthusiasm, and courage that can help you overcome obstacles in life. It can help us to learn where our limitations are and how to work around them. Once we learn how to balance stressful situations, the fire dragon beings to fuel our inner fires, allowing us to master leadership situations and to accomplish objectives.
I think I've been told off then. So then we have water from moving quickly onwards to water dragon. This was written by Sue. So the water dragon brings connection, depth, and passion. The water dragon as a power animal brings memories and wishes, perhaps long forgotten yet hidden to the fore. By squaring up with painful past experiences, a sense of peace and balance can be achieved in our lives. The water dragon will give you the courage and compassion in this challenge.
And earth dragons. These dragons are ruled by Grail. Their elemental colour is pure green, and their homes are in cold and dry places. Earth dragons are very quiet beings. They will observe from a distance until they are ready to approach you. Once you have befriended an earth dragon, they are very straightforward and will be blunt and honest with you, but can be loving and nurturing. Of all the dragons, these are the ones that like treasure, and in order to build a strong relationship, you should keep a jar or dish full of coins. Yes.
Perfect. Right, we've got quite a lot of comments here, so let's have a look. Rosemary, black, red, purple, Chinese type dragon. That sounds beautiful. Xenia, I asked Air Dragon why air. He said I should cleanse my thoughts and think more positively. Wise advice. Anna saw a comet during my meditation. There you go. Connection. Debbie, so where do I go with a luminous greeny blue, orange, red, well, multicolored dragon that smelt salt, earth, and charcoal? I am absolutely positive that they change colors, that they can change colors. Don't be restricted by these kind of general guidelines. Dragons are a power unto themselves. They are not going to slot into any box that anybody tries to put them in. So it is what it is. If that's the color that they presented to you, that's the color it is. And it's probably a bit of everything. And love that got a similar thing as I need to be positive at the moment. Dragon power will do that. Absolutely. Janet, this is the year of dragon. It seems that I've been riding a lot of waves. It is actually the Chinese year of dragon. When I wrote Dragon Magic last year, and the publishing process takes a while, it was my editor that decided to publish it on the summer solstice week as well. So Chinese year of the dragon as well. So it was all meant to be. Kerry, water for me means go with the flow. Absolutely. Water is cleansing, it's purifying, it is going with the flow, and it is balancing your emotions as well. Water for me is very much linked to the emotions. Emma, just found out his name is a place in Slovenia. Things just got more interesting. There are so many stories from around the world. It may be that he is a specific dragon tied to one place on the map. Definitely worth some investigating. Xenia, same with me, resonate with it. Brilliant. Louisa, couldn't find the link. Went on YouTube, couldn't comment. Oh, did Chaos Dragon. It will be on replay, Louisa. It will be on replay. Chaos Dragon's messing about. Yeah, Heather always causes chaos. Maybe it's not the dragon. Maybe it's just Heather.
I'll make no comment.
Get me back, don't worry. I'm going to be sitting in a tent with these two for nearly a week. So yeah, remember that the luck dragon Falcor from Neverending Story was also a white Chinese dragon. Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Love it. Georgie, enjoyed the ritual. During ritual, my dragon was green with purple tinge. I believe it to be an earth dragon of North. Perfect. That sounds brilliant. Hazel, my air dragon was about lifting my mood as I'm suffering from low mood at the moment. Big hugs to you, Hazel. Big hugs to you. Yeah, the dragon he'll kick your butt. Don't you worry. Angela, strong smell of sulfur, cinnamon, and black powder. Huge dragon that shrunk as it came toward me, as he said he didn't want to overwhelm me. Oh, bless. His skin was sort of shimmering and licking with flames. That sounds incredibly powerful. Perfect. Red dragon with a yellow belly. I'm sure he was sniffing me before they came through. I'm loving this. We've got so much dragon energy whipping around here this evening. That's fabulous. Excellent. Maria, dragons are so cool. They really, really are. Absolutely. Janet, I think I'm being led to change, but not sure what the changes are. I find that dragons are actually very good with that. Whilst the dragons can be of any of the elements, I think the core of dragon energy is the element of fire, and fire is all about transformation. It is about dealing with changes. It is about transitioning. So that they are brilliant at leading you through that, or should I say, kicking you through it, fighting and screaming. Sephora's is a menopause dragon. There must be one, mustn't there? There must be one. Mum's dragon was indigo and silver and angular. She asked their name and they said Damascus. We googled that and found Damascus steel, yeah, and also Damascus nigella flower. That's the right color and angular. Brilliant. They don't often tell you their name straight off, so that's fabulous. Heather is not a good girl at all. What are you after, Maria? How much did she pay you? This dragon is mischief. Yes, absolutely. Angela, funny as I expected, my iridescent silver white air dragon that's been my companion for a while. Always expect the unexpected with dragon energy. Yeah. You can never tell what's going to happen or what's coming. So at this point, if you did want to do a bit of feasting, we do recommend obviously things like cake, ginger beer, ginger tea, because that's all kind of fiery dragon energy. But yeah, I have water, which is
drink. I didn't bring one in.
Okay.
My tea is ginger with licorice root.
Oh, nice. I like licorice. Yeah, the ginger seems to it goes with dragons, doesn't it? It seems to naturally kind of fit, and I think cinnamon as well, probably. But they're fiery, aren't they? They're fiery flavors.
Oh, Maria has got a curry.
Oh, now I'm really hungry. Goldfish, crackers, and all. I'm sorry, Rosemary, but I'm going to have to go with the curry. Love your cheeky dragon. Yes, it is. No, I don't know about quite mischievous. It's very mischievous. Hazel, menopause dragon is probably the scariest as it hasn't had much sleep and it can't control its body temperature with a low tolerance for morons. Oh, nailed it, Hazel. Absolutely nailed it. Absolutely. Oh, they made of real goldfish. Oh, that would be nasty. Goldfish crackers made of goldfish. That wouldn't be nice. That would not be nice. Fish cakes, very nice. Oh, steak and new potatoes, beans. Oh, now I'm just really hungry now. I've eaten my poke bowl already. Now I've only water left. Wasser. That's me showing off my few words of German that I know. Wasser. It's water. Not very technical, is it? I have been learning a bit of German. Random things. So we can stop. Senia wants a dragon that demands morons instead of maidens. Oh yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? Definitely. Super. And so you won't go thirsty next time in Germany. No, I loved Germany so much that I have been learning a bit of German. I'm getting there. So time presses on, so we better close this all down and release the quarters. Heather, when you're ready.
Right, so Earth Dragon, you may return to your deep earthly slumber. You have shown us the potential to be powerful in mind and spirit. We feel nurtured and grounded. We thank you for your presence in our ritual today.
Water Dragon, return to your crystal clear waters, if you will. We thank you for joining us in our ritual, for sharing with us your gifts and wisdom, and for guiding us through the ebb and flow of life.
Dragon of Fire, may we continue to move forward in life with increasing passion and the ability to master whatever obstacles life may put in our way. As you return to the fiery lands of the South, we thank you for joining us today.
Air Dragon, thank you for joining us here today. As you take flight from here, continue your watch over our thoughts and wishes to bring us happiness, acceptance, and serenity. We thank you for joining us today.
With the power of ancient dragon magic and the elements of four, earth, air, fire, water, may the energy of all carry with us. This circle is open, but never broken. So, although we mentioned the Chaos Dragon, we didn't include him in the ritual, but the lovely Josh, who is Nessa's son, who wrote quite a bit of this ritual, he writes beautifully. He wrote a bit about the Chaos Dragon. So I will share Josh's research on the Chaos Dragon with you. Largest of their kind, long and serpentine in form, Chaos Dragons are always the darkest of colours. Most commonly portrayed in purple, Chaos Dragons actually don many colours of the rainbow, but always in a shade almost black. These beautiful creatures throughout history have often been mislabeled as evil or malicious. This is, of course, untrue. Chaos in itself is a primordial energy. It exists in everything and everyone and is the creative force of the universe. It is often misunderstood and brings about images of great destruction and the world in disarray. But this is only because we fear the unknown and the unpredictability of chaos. Sometimes in life, problems cannot be solved with order and reasoning, and the Chaos Dragon is then called. They are called often for big changes in one's life. The recreation of careers and love lives, the reversal of spells gone awry, the reversal of life decisions that were disastrous. It will find the very source of the problem and turn you to the correct path to solve it. But it is often warned not to call on the Chaos Dragon for aid with your issues if you are not willing to accept the solution. Wise words. Wise words. I think there's a bit of chaos in everything, really, isn't there? Right. What have we missed out? You're hungry. You've got another 7 hours before breakfast. Oh, Sephora, have a snack. Definitely have a snack. Karen, if we fed morons, can we start with the government? I think there's a big long list. Emma, morons instead of maidens, there wouldn't be anyone in Parliament. Can you tell it's election coming up? That would be half the male population. Oh, I think there's a big old list. Big old list. You're welcome. You're welcome. Xenia, danke. Danke. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Sephora, mine was a Chaos Dragon Black and Golden Menopausal. But then it's changes, it's transitions. The menopause is all about changes and transitions, isn't it? So that kind of makes sense. You're very welcome, Debbie. We have got more information. If you would like to stay with us, we have some information about dragon magic. Hungarian mushroom soup. Oh, that sounds nice. I really am hungry now. Oh, Janine, no, you're not alone with frustrating governments. I think that's worldwide. I think that's worldwide. Definitely worldwide, yeah. And my daughter's doing politics at uni. Oh, that's too heavy. When I think of purple dragons, I think of my favourite dragon, Spyro the Dragon, who is purple.
Oh, Spyro. Yes, I used to play Spyro the Dragon.
Nice. So, dragon magic, more on magic and abundance. Yeah, so, dragon magic is, we'll just give you a basic overview. If anybody has got any questions as we go along, we'll throw it out there. It is about forming and building a relationship. As I've said, I can't stress that enough, really. I don't think it needs time, it needs effort to build the relationship. And it will be different energy from anything you've experienced. Dragon energy is definitely different. It is rare for a dragon to approach you out of the blue. Generally, they only respond if we put out that kind of request to work with them. Always remember your manners, always be polite. They are ancient creatures and they do deserve our respect. Do not expect your experience to be light and airy. Again, I cannot stress this enough. It is power, it is strength, it is hard work. They are not airy-fairy, light, fluffy creatures. They are not. They are ancient. They are primordial. They do not tolerate being summoned, and they don't appreciate half-hearted lack of commitment either. So you've got to really go in fully committed to this. I think, again, and I repeat it again, origin stories and mythology, very, very important. To be able to know and understand dragons and how to work with them, you need to know their stories. And it's just really important because you'll get an understanding of them. You can use dragon magic for all sorts of things. They can help you with the spell work. They can help you with divination. You can bring energy to a ritual. You can call in dragons at the elemental quarters. If you're very lucky, you will find one that's happy to be your guardian. There's a chapter in the book called How to Summon a Dragon. And the first 2 words say, do not. Never summon a dragon. Just don't do it. They won't respond anyway. They won't come. It's, thank you, Maria. I hope it's very useful. You'll just annoy the dragons if you try to summon them anyway. Just be polite and respectful. My guardian dragon has been with me for many years, and I am very grateful that he is there. Sometimes I don't feel like it. Sometimes I feel like I'm being told off a lot. But they do need attention, like anything, any spirit, animal, guide, any deity. You need to honor them. You need to build that relationship. An altar works well. Wearing jewelry that reflects their images. Meditation is a good route for maintaining your relationship. I've got to the stage now where my dragon guardian is just there with me, like my spirit animal guide. They're just there. I don't have to do anything fancy to call upon them because they are there. But you have to maintain that connection. That's a big part of it. They will be honest. They will be direct with you. You might not always like what they say. It won't always be what you want to hear, but it will be what you need to hear. So it pays to learn to trust them and follow their directions as well. I mentioned earlier about seeing dragons. I don't know what, Ness and Heather, how you feel about this. I don't see the dragons as it's not like a, cartoon dragon wandering, or, some dinosaur wandering along in front of me. It's not Jurassic Park kind of imagery. Feeling. You can feel the energy is there, and I know whether it's my dragon or a different dragon. It is more about feeling it. Sometimes when I'm outside in nature, I might catch something in the corner of my eye. So you just get that glimpse.
Yeah.
You can have the visualization once you feel that energy.
Yeah. But you're not going to see a whole,
not
thing.
physically, no.
Yeah. Should we do some comments? Debbie has recording of Qi Zhong dragon form, so we'll give it a go. Perfect. Once read a chained dragon during a shamanic journey. I think it represented my psychic ability, which I closed the door on in my teens due to seeing things I couldn't handle at the time. Very representative of, that was a sign for you. Brilliant. That's my sign.
Mention somebody's brought up about pins.
Would that involve wax pins? Now that's pins are useful. Are there beings, spirits, guides who can act as an intermediary to work with dragons to smooth the process? I've never come across it. I suppose there could be. I'm not sure who it would be or what it would be, though, because they are such an energy of their own. They are such a different energy to anything else. I've never come across it, but in this business, never say never, because you never know. I've never come across it. Having anger issues once, and one landed on my car while I was shouting at the seatbelt ding and drawed blood on my windshield. Well, that's rude. Sephora, have a cat who looks like Dragon from Training Your Dragon. Oh, yeah. She's commonly called Smuts. Just connected some dots. I think there are connections with the animal world, and cats in particular are quite open to all the different otherworldly beings, aren't they? Karen, there is a lizard that looks like a mini dragon. Yes, there are several of the lizard family. Looking for the word that's not lizard, the proper word, but it's not coming to my head. But yes, there are bearded dragons, aren't they? One of them. You're very welcome, Rosemary. We have got a few odd bits to go through if you want to hang with us. Crocodile skinks. I think people, found, perhaps we're back to the skeletons again, where they might have found a skeleton of a large crocodile or something. Maria, quite surprised they're not the kill expert. They're both fierce. Yeah. Different realms, I think. Sonia, got kicked in the butt by a dragon in a shamanic journey, which helped me a lot and gave me the power to deal with my noisy neighbour. Having the landlord company and law involved and being lucky enough to find witnesses of the noise, situation got much better. They are good for sorting out stuff. They will take things and just, right, let's deal with this. Yeah, absolutely. Cat just woke up and looked around like, when did we get a dog? Yes. My Luna looks like the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon. That's the cat thing. Komodo dragons, yes. They all have that look to them, don't they? Xenia, super cute lizards with wings that look like actual miniature dragons. You can see where people got the idea from. What was the name of the book you liked when you were little? Baby Green Dragon. Yeah, Green Smoke. It's called Green Smoke. written back in the late 60s. It is a lovely little story. Georgie, have this on Bluetooth speakers. Eric nearly gave me a heart attack. Oh, sorry. He is a small dog with a very loud bark. Now, dragon names were interesting. Some of you said the dragons gave you their names. In all the years that I have had my dragon guardian, he has never told me his name. He is now called Keith, obviously, because of the book. But he's never felt the need to give me his name. And in fact, none of the dragons have that I've worked with. I say he, excuse me, because I feel the energy as a he. And actually, when I was writing the book, I put that, my dragon is male. I get that energy. And he laughed. I think their energy, masculine, feminine, receptive, projective, I think they can mess about with that too. I don't know. I'm just from the feeling that, and Heather's nodding. I think there is something very fluid about their gender, because he was laughing at me when I was writing it. So there you go. One of the interesting ways, best ways, is the altar, which Ness can share with us if you are ready.
Yep. Dragons do like to be honoured, and having an altar set up just for them is an excellent way to help make and maintain a connection with them. And of course, it strokes their ego as well. If you are short on space, then a candle specifically dedicated to dragon energy will do. But if you have room, then an altar just for dragons does go a long way. It does not need to be fancy or elaborate unless you want it to be. So yeah, if you've got the space, go all out. So suggestions for your dragon altar are below, but as always, trust your intuition and of course your budget. Also listen to your dragon. There may be specific things that they want you to include on the altar. Offering bowl for milk. Just a small dish will work. Give regular offerings of milk, but make sure to clean the bowl each time, and do not leave the milk out for days. That wouldn't be nice, would it? Sour milk smells bad to you, and of course it's not very polite for the dragon either. Candle. Most dragons, even the non-fire breathing ones, appreciate a flame. Having a dedicated candle for dragon energy works very well. Light the candle each day and honour dragon energy. The flame can also be used to focus dragon energy and for you to make a connection as well. Ornaments. There is a huge array of dragon ornaments on the market, from small jewellery charms to garden-sized statues. Obviously, the space you will have will dictate what you want to use. Keep an eye out in charity or thrift stores for bargains. I have several. There's a small curled ceramic dragon that fits into the palm of my hand that I hold when I meditate. When not in use, it sits on my altar. I also have colourful clay figures and detailed cast images, which are all fairly small. You can often find candle holders and chalices that are decorated with dragons as well. If you are creative, then you can make your own from air-dried clay or coloured modelling clay. Painted images of dragons on canvas or pebbles and embroidered dragon designs on fabric also work well. Pictures. There's some incredibly talented artists out there who depict dragons in their artwork. Whilst the images can be printed from the internet, I would encourage you to purchase direct from the artist if you can. Most artists produce small prints or postcards of their work that are inexpensive. Crystals. There are a number of crystals associated with dragon energy. There are some suggestions within Rachel's book, but use crystals that you are drawn to. Coins. A lot of dragons love treasure, so it makes sense to pop a few coins on your altar. Whilst it will not constitute a hoard, it is a nod in the right direction. Old pieces of jewellery that sparkle also work well. Incense. There is no smoke without fire. Burning incense on your dragon altar will help you put you in the right space, but also honour the dragon, particularly if you select a corresponding scent. Altar cloth. Placing a cloth on the altar can add in some colour magic. It can also be used to correspond with the elements. If you find a piece of cloth with a dragon image on it, then that would work brilliantly. It is also practical and protects your furniture from oils and wax. Cauldron. Have a cauldron or fireproof dish of some sort on your dragon altar, and this is used for burning any petitions safely. It can also be filled with water for scrying.
I think there's an insect that looks like a dragon. Oh, okay. Interesting. Amy, I'd said for years and years, mine didn't tell me his name. They don't seem to. It seems to be quite unusual to get a name. Always wanted to get wings to put on my bearded dragon, Iggy, but he's told me no. Iggy is very cool. Rosemary says chaos has to be female. Yeah. Green, the earth dragon I met did not give me a name, just said that he was waiting for me, wrapped me in a loop with his tail and wings, and the interaction was done. I feel that was just a start. Sounds like you've got an interesting journey ahead of you. Maybe we don't need names. No, I don't think we do. I think we are, again, we're trying to put something human onto something that isn't. Dragons don't work by our rules and regulations. So I don't think they have names. Ishtar's connected to dragons. There are a few deities that have connections to dragons. Think dragons would like milk bottle lollies? Probably would. Maria, you can always find things connected to dragons in charity shops. Yes, they are excellent for searching things out. Oh, the soup dragon from the Clangers. Brilliant.
Oh, yes.
I love the Clangers.
Yeah.
Maria, dragon's blood. The scent of dragon's blood is fantastic. Xenia, those lovely crystal dragon skulls got through from the UK. They are fascinating. Oh, Xenia's shopping now. So, Heather, do you want to give us some prompts on offerings?
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be rude not to offer things to your dragon. You do for your friends when they come round. You're going to give them a cup of tea and a bit of cake. So it's the same for.
Otherwise, they complain.
Oh yeah. But you can't keep asking and approaching a dragon without giving something back in return. This ritual is our offering tonight. So it doesn't have to be a physical something. It can be something, it can be a dance, it can be a song. As long as you're actually saying, I'm doing this to you.
They don't want me singing.
Or a poem. Basically, listen to what your dragon says, I would say, because some of them, and they don't always want the same thing, because let's face it, they'd get bored. If you always offered them the same thing, I could guarantee if it was always milk, they would throw it back at you. So if you know that your dragon has got a specific element, then you can use that. But tea, coffee, cake, I tend to think if you're having something, offer them something. You know, if it's your dragon, then they tend to like the same sort of things as you do. In my experience, I could be wrong.
Yeah, no,
obviously.
that makes sense.
but yeah, I mean, just as a few ideas, especially as I say, if you know that your dragon has got a specific stronger energy. So earth dragons, they would like things, I would say, to do with the earth. I mean, they are linked to their qualities are abundance, prosperity, fertility, grounding, employment, stability, planning, career, selfishness. That's interesting, isn't it? Wisdom, wealth.
I think we forget, don't we? There's all these characteristics you associate with the elements, and we always go for the positive ones. But there are negatives to all of these as well.
Yeah,
which I think we forget about.
Yeah, domineering, greed, attention seeking, laziness. So yes, for earth dragons, I would go more with the coins and jewelry. That's where I would. What do you two think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, coins. I think I did.
Yeah.
We put a few
Because
coins.
earth is material things, isn't it? The element of earth is material things. Yeah.
And then when you come to air, then you've got the qualities of the intellect, travel, instruction, study, knowledge, finding lost items and illumination, and the negatives, the theft, nerves, indecision, insecurity, anxiety. You see, for an air dragon, I would go with either dancing or poetry or reading a story to them, because that would make sense to me.
Yeah.
Then we've got the fire dragon, who's linked to volcanoes and deserts and arid places, and whose positive qualities are courage, change, energy, protection, strength, passion, personal power, integrity, manifesting. Huge, great long list of wonderful breaking bad habits, authority, banishing, transformation. Yeah, also, and then the negatives, the anger, jealousy, stubbornness, greed, arrogance, resentment, possessiveness, cruelty and violence. So fire, that's where I would think of the incense and the candles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm actually at this point thinking if you've got a fire pit,
or
but
curry.
indoors, or a curry. Yeah, preferably a vindaloo. We don't want any kormas here.
No, let's don't, none of the wussy stuff.
No, that's not a curry.
Yeah, that's not a curry. Yeah, tikka maybe, but yeah, definitely more the vindaloo end. Water dragons. So you've got the purification, love, relationships, compassion, and emotions, nurturing. Negative is the fear, jealousy, hatred, deceit, sorrow, and spite. But for water, for me, it would be those watery. So a bottle of water, but from somewhere special. So if you visited the coast, I would take a bottle with you and bring back some seawater. If you go to a sacred spring, bring back some sacred water from there. So yeah, it's making it that little bit different, isn't it? And then you've got spirit dragons. So they have the connection to the divine to help with your spirituality and connections, value, personal growth. So for spirit dragons, again, I think I'd probably go with incense a lot with that, but also with meditation. So actually,
say meditation,
with the spirit dragons, because it's that communication side again, isn't it? So it'd be the meditation, but not just the meditation. It's that two-way process. So you're not just praying. You're
like
then
a conversation, in other words. Yeah. Sort of
like that's it. Thank you, Ness.
It was just the word that popped in my head was like, conversation. Sort of when you said two-way thing.
And then, of course, there's the chaos dragon. Because he does need a mention. But destruction and destroy. To me, the chaos dragon has that affinity with fire, because fire can be destructive, but it can also. I mean, there are areas in the world that have to have fire to actually reignite some of the seeds. They have to have that heat to actually, put them into. So he is very much about transformation, but on a grand scale. He is, yeah. And actually, he, as I say, he tends to like what I like, which is very handy.
I think he gets a bit of a bad rap, actually, the Chaos Dragon. I think it is about understanding how he works. He isn't evil necessarily. I think it's just about understanding, how he figures in everything. Right, we got here. Oh, the sea dragon. Oh, that's what Xenia was looking at. A seahorse that looks like a dragon. Yeah, seahorses do have that kind of shape to them, don't they? They are more dragon than horses, aren't they? Cool. I will have a look at him in a bit. Nice. Seahorse dragon. I like the idea of that. This is forward. Just remembered I painted a dragon for Dragon Mad Child. Must resurrect it for the autumn. Perfect. Meant to be. Meant to be. Meant to be. He reckons they like cheese. Well, that kind of makes sense. They like milk, so they like cheese. Dragon says how to train a human. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Are there any dragons known to be associated with crossroads? Not that I can think of off the top of my head. They tend to be more with mountains, hills, caves, forests, rather than actual crossroads specifically. Not that I know of. Interesting question, though.
Yeah, I can't think of it. I think that would be too limiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Emma can see my dragon having a cuppa with a ginger nut biscuit. Brilliant. Brilliant. I think that was when you were reading off some of those negative qualities. That's teenagers, yeah. What do we offer the Chaos Dragon? I think whatever it wants.
Like I said, I'm very lucky that mine actually likes what I like.
I think it is. It's about accepting that he's present in the world. So it's about offering whatever he asks for, really, I think. Air Dragon resonated with Xenia. Excellent. More chaos. Yeah, there's always chaos. Always chaos. Maria, Spirit Dragon, incense, meditation, divination. I don't often come across the Spirit Dragons, I must admit. I tend to be just the 4 elements. You can learn from chaos, absolutely. And it is about taking those lessons and listening to them, which isn't always easy. Just had an image of a tent with fire, earth, and chaos dragon. You guys better take lots of offerings to keep the tent upright. Don't say things like that. We'll take. Look, there'll be plenty of cups of tea. That'll be fine. So sometimes you need chaos to find balance. Chaos is in everything, and sometimes you have to have that destruction or that absolute chaos to sort everything out. Yeah, you do need it sometimes. So very quickly, because we are running out of time. I reckon, yes, I live in organized chaos most of the time. Yeah. So for dragon energy, you can work with it very well in spells. I think they are very good for anything that requires strength, power, courage, confidence. Think about the size of a dragon and the energy that a dragon brings, and it brings all of those fire personality qualities with it. They also work quite well for healing. I tend to think more of them as self-healing, inner work, and sorting yourself out rather than healing illnesses. Protection. I mean, perfect. Dragon is absolutely perfect for protection. Dragons in ritual we showed you today about calling on dragon energy. You can use them to call in the quarters. Protection, I think Christopher mentioned earlier about the big dragon sitting on top of the house. Perfect visualization. A dragon on top of your roof or curling itself around your house brings in perfect protection. I think they also work quite well with cleansing. If you build up that connection with your dragon, it can help you clear the house from negative energy. Think about dragon breath, dragon fire, dragon smoke. That will cleanse your house perfectly. I mean, obviously don't expect him to act like, a smudge stick or a vacuum cleaner or anything. We're talking bigger stuff here. I actually think that dragons love music as well. Heather, you said about singing and dancing, and I think they do. I think they love that beat, drum beat in particular. I think you might find a dragon that likes opera or heavy metal. Who knows? I think they like that beat, that vibration of music. And we didn't talk about sabbats, but you can call in different dragons for different seasons, different sabbats to help you celebrate. They don't really work on a seasonal basis as such. It doesn't follow the linear time, that kind of thing. But they do have an energy, and it does ebb and flow with the seasons. So you can call upon a dragon to help you celebrate whatever Sabbath you're working with. I think for me, it is such a different power and energy that you're working with. You need to get to know it first. And I know I've stressed it several times. Read the myths, read the stories, read the legends, and do some research. It's so easy now to Google. My day, we had to go to the library and look stuff up, but it's so easy to Google now to find the legends and the myths. And that's, if you are interested in working with dragon magic, obviously buy my book. I don't think I've even waved that yet. Obviously buy the book, because it's an introduction, so it'll give you a starting point.
Which is officially released.
It's released this week. If you order it from the Kitchen Witch shop, I've got some in stock. Otherwise, if you pre-order it, it'll be out on the 28th. So 6 days' time. You need chaos to appreciate the calm. Yeah, we're balanced again, isn't it? I think it is about learning their stories. I think that's really important. Oh, bless you, Emma. You will find, I'm sure, if you Google, that there will be dragon legends in your area. There will be at least something. There will be a dragon type name in your area, or a legend that comes from your area across the globe. That's a good starting place, because that will be energy that's local to you. That energy will be in the land that you live on. So that makes it so much easier to connect with. So just a bit of research, really. Chaos dragon offering alcohol like a warm, fiery whiskey. Chaos and alcohol together. Yeah.
Explosive.
Yes, personally, I wouldn't recommend it.
You want to give it a go? Just let us know how you get on.
Yeah, when you put out the flames. If that's what you're drawn to offer, then go for it. But that it does sound like a nightmare waiting to happen. Maria smudges dragon's blood. It always seems a bit weird celebrating dragon energy with dragon's blood. Obviously, it's not. It's from a plant. It's from the Draconia plant. So it's not actually dragon's blood, because that would just be rude. But it is a fabulous scent. Chaos is what we do very well. I think we probably have a chaos dragon sitting on our shoulders all the time. That's kind of it. Florence and the Machine is great. Dragon magic, they love a bit of music. They do love a bit of music. Hopefully you've all enjoyed it. If you have any questions, contact us. We'll be happy to help. We do have regular online rituals once a month. The next one, ladies, is
Ritual 27th of July.
and it's all about dryads. And if you're at Pagan Tribal Gathering next week, do come up to the Kitchen Witch HQ tent and say hello. I'm doing a talk about dragon magic and a talk about tree magic, and the ladies here are doing a dryad ritual there as well. So do come up. We'll have some goodies to sell as well. Xenia, I love the dragons that are in the City of London. It's worth having a look if you're in a big city, because quite often there are dragon statues, and there's quite a few in London as well. How much? I have no idea. I think it is £8.99. There you go, £8.99 for the book. It is. Find us. You can't miss us on Facebook and on YouTube. There's my YouTube channel, the Kitchen Witch YouTube channel, and their blogs. Lots of free information, lots of chats, lots of talks, and of course the Kitchen Witch Online School. So we're always happy to help if we can. So if you have any questions about dragon magic, do email us or message us. Maria's dragons like listening to High on Fire. Perfect. So thank you everyone for joining us. Why is it called a Draconia plant? No idea. It's a Latin name. I would imagine the trunk of it is quite scaly, and in some of the varieties the leaves are green tinged with red. So I'd imagine it's to do with the scaly trunk and the tinge of the leaves, but that's the Latin word for it. So I would imagine that's where it comes from. You're very welcome. It will be on replay. So if you want to do the ritual on your own, it will be on replay. Thank you, Xenia. Thank you. We will see you at the next event that we're at. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much, Krista, and Zephora, and everybody. If you go over to the Kitchen Witch, I'll put it in the comments. The dog's now licking my arm. Right. kitchenwitchhearth.net/shop. If you go to kitchenwitchhearth.net/shop, there it is. That is where you can order signed copies of the book from, should you wish to, and all sorts of other wonderful goodies made by us. Oh yes, thank you for that. If you are on YouTube, do give us a like and a subscribe if you want to. That would be fabulous. Excellent. Thank you for that reminder. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Any questions, reach out to us and we will do what we can. So thank you, everyone. Take care. And we will see. You're very welcome, Janine. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much. I've been attacked by the dog now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.